Hello and welcome to the DocketManager demonstration for Alliance Franchise Brands. This is a special presentation for Alliance Franchise Brands franchisees. So I want to welcome all of you to the session today. We're going to go over DocketManager. We're an integrated web-to-print and print management system. Everything is cloud-based with DocketManager, so you don't have to have any server installs. You can access it anywhere you have access to a browser and the internet, and it is responsive, so you can easily open it up on a cell phone or a tablet. So you are all in listen-only mode today. I'm going to go through the presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the Ring Central panel. There's a questions and answer session there, so feel free to go ahead and ask throughout. I'll try and answer the questions during the session, and I'll also take questions and answers at the very end. The session is being recorded, so we will go ahead and send this out to attendees or people that registered for the session within a day, so you'll be able to review it and share it with other team members. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and start with a quick overview of the MIS, and then we'll go into the web to print. So what you're looking at right now is the MIS section for you and your employees. It's all login based, so you can set different levels of access based on the people within your company. This dashboard is just really the ability to take a look at the health of the shop. It's designed for owners or managers to go in maybe once or twice a day and just get an overall look at how things are going in the shop. So at the top, you'll be able to see there is a dashboard that shows dollar volumes of what you received today, yesterday, week, month, year, an accounts receivable graph, so you could see what's current 60/90, a production graph, so you can see where things are backlogged within your shop, and those are all customizable as well, so you can create your own workflow throughout. There's an orders and quotes graph. There is also a sales graph, which allows you to set projected sales for each month throughout the year, and then track in real time where your sales are based on those projected goals. Down the right-hand side, we have communications that happen within DocketManager. So there is a task manager system where you can set and assign tasks to different employees throughout your shop. There's a recent communications area. Again, this is designed to see all of the communications that go out from DocketManager, the various communications, whether it be a proof or a quote or an invoice. It'll show you those most recent communications. There's a deposit section where you can see all the deposits that you've put together of payments that have come in and have been applied to outstanding invoices. And finally, there's a purchase order section here where you can see the purchase orders that have been sent out to your paper or substrate suppliers. So that's all part of the dashboard. Again, you can turn this feature off for the different levels of access, so you don't have shop floor personnel going in and seeing all the financials or the dashboards. DocketManager is integrated, again, from the web to print solution all the way through a CRM, orders and quotes, production management, inventory, and accounts receivable. So we're going to jump into the CRM portion right now, and there's a lot that you can do. So DocketManager, throughout the whole program, has a very comprehensive search tool where you can do multi-level queries of searches. So if you're searching for specific clients in a region, or a sales rep is looking for their prospects and clients, you can enter all of that information in the bar along the side here, do those searches, and you can save those searches as well. So if I need to bring up, clients that maybe do mailers or prospects, I could save those searches and bring them up at any time. I have the list of the results of those searches, or a list of all of my clients, over on the right-hand side here. If I click on the edit for the client, it's going to go in and give me a ton of information about that particular client. So you'll see in the blue boxes up at the top, I have financial information, and again, you can turn that off based on login access level. Down the left-hand side, throughout DocketManager, we always have customer information. So you're always looking to that left-hand side when you want to look at or talk about a customer or get information about a customer. And just very standard information, phone, fax, email. You can assign sales reps or CSRs to a specific client. You can have shipping and billing addresses, multiple addresses, and these are the defaults. You can create tags and attach them to a client. So a tag might be a vertical. or it could be a type of work that they do with your company. So these are just ways to bring up searches on that search panel. And again, everything that you search can be exported out from DocketManager into a CSV file, so you can do email marketing, export that data out, import it into an email marketing program or direct mail as well, or even just generate reports. So these tags are a great tool for grouping specific items together in a search. Standard items like shipping type, how the invoices are delivered, payment terms, tax types are all part of the DocketManager CRM. Down the middle here, we have a notes section. So as you're talking to clients, you can save those notes or log them into the CRM. Notes can be made sticky, and a sticky note is actually a note that will show up on every order that is placed. So in this example, we have a new logo for a client who we manage the artwork for. So the sticky note, when an order is written, will pop up on that new order to make sure to change that logo out. So again, you can use it for whatever you need to remind yourself on that client on all new orders. You can have multiple contacts within a company. It carries all their information as well. And as I said earlier, you can assign tasks to different shop floor personnel based on that particular client. So maybe we're following up on a quote for a person, or we're going to just do a sales call follow-up in 6 weeks. We can create that task, set a due date, and assign it to somebody in the shop. And then over on the right-hand side, it just shows the most recent orders and quotes for the company, as well as just general accounting information. So any outstanding balances if they have them, or any payments that have been made against the outstanding invoices. Up at the top in the actions area here, we can actually print or email a statement, and we can also email information out from DocketManager and view all of the records, so all of the communications that have gone out from DocketManager, just to follow up and make sure things are getting done. So again, a lot within the customers area. We'll go back to the CRM tool, and I want to show you this sales area. The sales area is where we can track or set projected sales amounts and then track in real time what we've posted against what our projected amounts were. So you'll see up at the top here, we've already posted $258,000 for the month here with a projected $645,000 for the month. That leaves us with $386,000 outstanding. So that means we have to bill at the end here, you'll see the daily target. We have to bill $55,000 per day, business day, for the rest of the month to meet that goal. So this is just a nice reminder of, hey, if we want to meet our goals, here's what we have to do and here's where we're at. So let's go over to the orders and quotes section now. And the orders and quotes section is where you're going to manage those incoming jobs or those incoming quotes that you need to produce or estimates that you need to produce within the system. It's very easy to create a quote or an order. Once you know how to do one, you know how to do the other. It's the same process throughout. We have new buttons throughout the CRM in the individual customers, or we have a new button right here on the orders and quotes page for creating those new orders or quotes. Or my favorite is up in the top here in the toolbar. You can always go down and create a new order or quote from anywhere within the system. So to create a new order or quote, again, you're just going to select the option that you want to do, whether, again, it's an order or quote. It'll pop up a little modal window where now we can go ahead and type in the specific customer that we're looking for. And then from there, it will give us the contact information that we could select from. So if there's multiple contacts within the company, we can pull out the one that is placing this order or quote, and then add a name or a purchase order number if applicable. Now, to save time today, I've actually created a sample order that we're going to go over. But before I do that, I want to show you down the left-hand side, again, in the orders and quotes area, there is that comprehensive search tool where we can search throughout our orders, our quotes, or the integrated shopping cart within the online portal system. And there's a lot that you can search from, so you can search by customer name, by CSR, by order or posted date. We can search for specific job tags, whether there's outstanding balances or total dollar amounts for an actual order itself. And again, all of these searches can be exported out into a CSV file, or they can be saved so we can bring them up at any time. So if I come up here and I want to look at all my unposted orders and pull those up at the screen so I can run a report and see what I can bill, I can do that very easily at any time. So I'm going to jump into now our order that I've created. So again, once we select that order or quote option, we enter the customer information. It's going to drop us into a screen that looks very much like this. In fact, it looks exactly like this. The only thing that's going to be different is if you're doing a quote, it will show quote up at the top here versus order. So again, the same process. Once you know how to create an order, you can create a quote and vice versa. Down the left-hand side, again, customer details, always on that left-hand side there. In the middle, there's details as far as invoicing. So when we go to invoice or produce an invoice for this job, it'll allow us to enter shipping, postage, the invoice date, and then print or email an invoice from there. On the right, we have payments against the order. So if they place an order through the online portal and pay with a credit card at checkout, it will log that payment into DocketManager so you know that a payment has been made. Or you can manually log payments. Maybe they sent you a check or a deposit or paid off the order. That can be logged in the payments area. Notes for the order. Tasks, again, we can create and assign tasks based on an order to individuals within our shop. There is a shipment module here where we can actually create or import shipments. So let's say you get an Excel spreadsheet and you need to send to 25 different locations. You can actually upload or import those shipment locations into DocketManager and then go in and edit those shipments. So here what I did is I set up an initial shipment. Maybe we need to get the brochures out faster than the other pieces, so I can put a billing address, or it actually fills in the billing location and the destination location. I can put little shipment notes in here. So I'm saying, we're shipping out 1,000 brochures here, and now I can create that new parcel at the shipping or during the shipping process. So the parcel just allows us to put the box size, which I can preset standard boxes in the back end that I can pull down from a list. All I have to do then is put the weight of that box and what I'm allocating into the box itself off of the items on the order. Once I save that, then I can go in and say get rates. And this is an integration with a product called Shippo, which allows us to put all of our shippers within Shippo that we have accounts with. And then what it'll do is it'll go out to Shippo, connect, get the rates from all of those carriers, and we can select the most cost-effective rate at that point and utilize that to ship the product. It will put the cost in here. So again, if I'm doing multiple parcels, I would just select all the parcels. It will put the cost in. I can have it put a default handling fee, so a percentage or a dollar amount that I want to charge additional to the shipping that isn't shown to the customer, and then it'll flow that price in there for me. So when I save this, it will actually show up in the shipping section here. And from there, I can go and print out a shipping label, send an email, or create a packing slip. So again, that's basics of the order itself or the quote. The next step that I'm going to want to do is actually enter information in for the pricing or for the order itself. So typically, if you're starting from scratch, these items will not be contained here. We'll have to add them in. I actually could start from an order or from an old order or from a quote, and if I'm doing that, I can go up to the actions and either click reorder if this is a reorder, or if I was in a quote, I can convert it over to the order. So it's going to copy all that data into the new order. Because I'm in an order right now, I can actually push it back to a quote. So let's say this is a job I ordered 6 months ago. They want a quote before they reorder it. I can take that, convert it to a quote, send out that quote to the customer. Once they approve it, then convert it back to a brand new order. To add items into the order, the various items that are needed, there's 3 main ways of doing it. The first is to start from scratch, where you're going to enter all of the data in. So, the graphics time, if any, the paper that you're utilizing, the press it's going to run on, any of the finishing or outsourcing information. It's a very simple interface to enter all that in, and I'll show you that in a few moments. But very easy, very fluid on entering the information in to create that order. The second way to enter an order is by using an item for an order is by using the insert tool. The insert tool will allow you to actually search from current or past orders, quotes, templates, which I'll get to in a minute, or customer goods. So we have an inventory solution in here where if you're pulling from a customer good, it's actually going to pull from that inventory amount, and when the order is shipped, it'll automatically update that inventory. So whether you're doing shells that you're imprinting on, or whether you're doing fulfillment of something that's sitting on the shelf, you can utilize that customer goods. Again, a lot of different search features to find that actual job. Once I find it over on the right, I can select it and add it into the order and then make changes accordingly. Maybe the quantity was updated or they had some specs changes on it. Another nice feature, and again, what we like to do is optimize everything that goes into DocketManager as far as order, item entry, and quoting. We allow you to pull from other customers. So if I did a quote, a week or two ago from another customer that's very similar to this one, I could actually search their database, find it, enter it in, or select it, and then make the changes accordingly. So it's saving me a lot of time. And again, that's one of the big features that we've done with DocketManager is we put together tools that allow you to save time in order entry and quote production. So the third and final way is really the biggest way to save time when you're entering orders or entering quotes, and that's actually by pulling them from a template or from a group template. Now, a group template can be things like if you're doing a saddle stitch book and it's like a 64-page plus cover, obviously the cover is going to be one item, the body pages will be another item possibly. What you could do is set that group template up and then pull that 64-page plus cover from the group template, enter it into the job, make changes to the specifications or quantity, and move on. So a simple way of doing multiple grouped items. The other way is just from a template itself, and the templates allow you to create different categories or groups of the different types of items, so you can create your own categories, and all you're going to do is search from that category to find the particular piece that you want to enter. So if I'm doing a brochure, I could go ahead and type in, my brochures, and then filter down by a specific template name that I've created. So I want to do my 8.5 by 11, and I want that to be a 4-color job. So I'm going to go ahead and click search, and it's going to give me all of those options. So I can create templates for digital presses, for offset presses, for wide format presses. And ultimately what that template's going to have is the basis of all of the specifications to produce that type of job that I can put into the work order or into the quote and then easily change what I need to change. So maybe Flow Digital is just my standard house stock, but I know I'll have to change that on each item that comes in. I can easily change that stock once I enter a template in. So I'd find the template that I want, add it in, and then go ahead and edit it. So if I go into my product brochure here now, that's something that I created from a template. You'll see we have a number of different quantities that we set up on that template, so it's already come in, priced out, ready to go. If I need to change the quantity, so here the default was 25,000, but if I want to change it, I can go into enable or editing mode, select the quantity I want, and print or produce the work order from there. So very easy. If I need to add new quantities, I just simply click new, or I can change a quantity and put whatever I want in there. I could do multiple at a time as well if I needed to add a bunch of quantities. It's very easy. Once I'm getting ready to produce the quote, if I'm producing a quote, I can actually look at the quote options here. I can expand everything out. And if I have all the specifications in, it'll show me my cost, my markup, my price, and my profit for each item that is used to produce this job. So if I need to go in editing mode and, change things around to, fine tune the quote a little bit, I can do that. So instead of 30% markup on the paper, maybe I want to do a 25% markup. If I want to change, maybe my wafer sealing cost or price, I can go in and override all that. And then once I save that, it's going to flag it as green. So if I come back in again to maybe do another price or rework on the job, let me go out of editing mode here. You'll see that that item is flagged as green. So I know in the future that, hey, this is something that I overrode on the price. If I want to go back to my standard, I just delete it out and let it recalculate based on the standard markups. I'll go back into editing again, and it's very easy to enter specifications in the job. Again, whether I'm editing from a template or whether I'm entering new, I'm just going to work my way down the tabs here. Very simple, easy interface. So I'll go to my graphics department. I can put in any estimated time if I want, or if I had specific tasks like pre-flighting that were preset up, for a specific price, I could enter those options in. I would go into my stock area here, and I can enter paper stock in. Now, DocketManager allows you to upload paper from your paper supplier, so you can actually have a paper stock catalog or database within DocketManager that also can keep track of inventory. So you'll see as I hover over this particular piece, it's going to show me how much stock I have on hand and what's available to use against this job. If I needed to change the paper out, again, this came from a template, so I want to go ahead and swap out a different paper stock. I can go in and access the database, so it's very easy to change my stock or find a different stock. So if I wanted to go with 8-point instead of 10-point, I could go ahead and do that search, find that paper stock based on the library, and go ahead and add it into the job. So very simple. And again, it's going to update me if I do have any of this in inventory or not. I can go down to the run size here. Again, very easy. Enter in my run size, my flat and finish size, and then I can go into my imposition calculator here and impose the job. So do I want it centered on the sheet? Do I want to put bleeds in there with those gutters? Do I need to match the grain? So I enter all of those different items, and then it allows me to automatically calculate, or the system does automatically calculate, any pre-cuts on the job, how many up it's running, as well as any post-cuts to complete the job itself. I can override these if necessary, but it's good to let the system go ahead and create all that for me. The other thing I can do is change the press. So we have options for all kinds of different press types that we support. When I go in to edit the press here, you'll see different press categories. So the different press categories we're showing here on our demo site, we do board printers, offset printers, digital printers, wide format, flexo. So we can support all those different printer types. So you're going to select the type that you want. So let's say we need to do offset press on this job. I can select offset. Then I'll have a list of my offset printers or offset presses that I can select from and save. And once I save that, again, based on the type of printer that I've selected, it'll change the questions that I ask, or that I am asked to produce the job. So down below here, we can automatically calculate plate wear on the back end if it's a longer run and the plates need to be replaced. We have modifiers for ink coverage for light, average, and heavy. Selecting two sides, how many inks are on that side, so it'll automatically calculate passes, how many plates I need. It'll automatically calculate my plate price and cost, how long it's going to take to set up, how many impressions per hour. That's all determined in the back end, and again, I can enter specifications as far as specific ink colors, or if it does aqueous coating at all on it, I can enter all that in on the press end. And again, for the digital, it's different. It's going to ask you a different set of questions, based on how many black in the sets, how many color front and back. Based on that press type that you select, it's going to ask you certain questions. I can go into my finishing now, and it's going to calculate, again, all of those pre and post cuts for me based on my imposition calculator. And from here, I can enter department items. So if it's being folded or wafer sealed or shrink wrapped, I can go in and select department items. So I'm going to go ahead and click new. Now you'll see some of these already came in from our template job, but let's say I need to add a shrink wrapping to it. I can either search by specific department groups here or the name itself. So I'm going to go ahead and type in, a quick search for shrink wrap or for shrink. It'll show me all the different shrink wrap options that I have. So I'll add the one on that I want to add on, and it's going to recalculate the price accordingly, and it's going to have those specifications on the job based on that item that I selected. I can outsource items from DocketManager. So whether I'm doing a portion of the job outsourced or whether I'm doing the full job outsourced, you can attach that to a specific item. So in this case, maybe we're doing foil stamping on this brochure. We don't do that in-house. We're sending it out. So I got quotes from 3 different vendors. And I've stored all that in DocketManager in the job. So if I have to reference back at all to see, hey, General Products can't do it right now, so Wade's Bindery looks like it's probably the most cost-effective option in the next vendor, I can select them and store all that information in. It also stores it in job history, so if I ever have to re-quote or redo the job, it'll bring all that data in so I can easily call up General Products and say, hey, your quote 1457, I want to make sure the pricing still stands. Whether you're sending the entire job out or just a portion of it, you can actually go in and send out an outsourced email to your vendor when you're ready to produce that job or send it out to them. Now, if they're doing the entire job, they're printing it, producing it, and so forth, you can upload files into DocketManager. Very easy. You'll select New, upload that file, tag what that file is. So whether it's a print file, proof file, a data file. If it's something that came in through the web to print, it'll automatically be here. And at this point now, what I can do is send an outsourced email to that vendor. So when I select outsourced email, it's going to allow me to select the purchase order that's going to go to them from our system. And you can design a number of different purchase order designs. So I'll select the design, and then it'll ask me if I want to send a file with it. If there are files attached to it, I can send that file. So I'm going to do the updated brochure, print file, click continue. And at this point, it's going to create that PDF purchase order. So it'll flow the data in from DocketManager or the information in to the purchase order. It'll attach that PDF file that I need to produce the job. And then I can go ahead and create or update an outsourced canned email. So I can have a number of different canned emails in the back end. Then I select the correct one and I send it out from there. So it's going to send the PO, it'll send the canned email, and it'll send that file to the vendor so we can track things at the back end, or get it sent out and track back into the job with the purchase order. The system can be used as well as a digital job ticket. So as we produce the order, we can actually print out a work order, very easy to do, or because it's a responsive system, so because it can be opened up on a cell phone or a tablet, we could actually have our shop floor personnel access their data on for the job ticket on a cell phone or a tablet. So really very nice solution because it gives you real-time data. If a customer calls up and makes a change to an order, you're not having to reprint the work order, rush through the shop, find where it's at. That data is all live online. A couple of different options. So if I actually go into my graphics department here, you can, as I said, attach files to the job itself. So I'm going to go back into graphics. So whether the customer uploads jobs, whether you have the file themselves, or whether you're producing something, you can upload that file in, whether it be a proof file, where it actually be a production file, so it can be accessed on your digital press or pushed to a hot folder. That can all be stored within the job itself. You can even create shop floor timers. So let's say we estimated an hour on this job, and our graphics person, when they log in, they can start a timer on the job and track all of their hours. So, here I can see it took 2 hours and 37 minutes on a job that I quoted an hour for. Well, why did it take so much longer? My graphics person actually typed in some notes here before, which we labeled them as production notes. Proof 5 from a customer, they made extensive changes. So again, maybe, there were a lot of changes back and forth, so I know I can go ahead and bill those changes because they made them. We can also put notes for each area. So as the CSR is writing up the order, they can put notes based on that particular customer, or again, even set tasks on this item. So you can set shop floor timers for press, for graphics, for finishing, if you're trying to do shop floor data collection and track true costs on the job itself. So again, that's the orders and quotes section. Once an order is written up, it's actually placed into production. So we have a production workflow tool here. And again, if the order comes in through the online portals, it's automatically going to go into production as well. You can have a catch-all category like to review, where if new jobs are written up and weren't put into production, or if they came from online and you want to review them first, they can go into this review category where a production manager or somebody who's doing scheduling can go ahead and select the items and push them off into the appropriate area. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. It's really very easy. Again, we have a very, very robust search tool here where you can search by presses, by groups, by ink colors. So if you're trying to, gang ink colors on an offset press so you're not doing a bunch of wash-ups, you can search for all those items of the jobs that are in production. Once you search, again, you can save those searches and pull up those searches at any time. So let's say Adam is our graphics person. And Adam logs in and he just wants to see the work that's assigned to him. He created that search. And now every day he'll just go in and he'll say, show me Adam's work. It'll automatically switch to the graphics tab and show the jobs that are assigned specifically to him. So in here, we can see the various items that are assigned to him and just general information. So item number, order number, the name of the piece, any statuses. And again, at the end here, we can see the status of a proof. So within DocketManager, once that proof is ready, you can actually upload the proof into the job and send a proof email out to the customer or push it out to the web to print. Once that proof is sent out, they can approve it online automatically, and that proof status then will be updated within the production area and within the order itself. So you'll get notification. If it's red, that means that changes are required. If it's green, it's been approved, and orange means it's still waiting for approval. So again, we can get those proof statuses easy within DocketManager. At this point, let's say Adam has completed the second job here now, and we know it's going into our digital press area. He can select the job and push move. So at this point now, we're going to move it off into our digital area. So once I click save, that job will come out of graphics and will go into the digital workflow queue. All of the tabs up at the top here, these different queues, are customizable by you. So you can name them whatever you want. You can create as many as you want. And it's just a matter of pushing the jobs through production by moving them to each area as they are completed. And whether you have a production manager do it or your shop floor personnel who log in and do it, they can go in and easily update the jobs. Now, the nice thing about this production tool is everything that's updated here also, and I'll show you when we get to the web to print, also gets updated in the web to print tool. So your clients can log in and see a status at any point of where their work is. Very nice too, if I'm going into my digital area, my press area, I can get a list of all the jobs. I can see due dates. I can see ink colors. I can sort and filter by, pretty much any one of the columns here. So it's a great way of setting up scheduling and working jobs through production. It's a good production tool here. Our inventory tool is where we keep track of paper or stock inventory if you're doing that, or again, customer goods inventory. The paper we can upload from our paper supplier or paper vendor. They can easily give you a CSV file that's very easily uploaded into DocketManager, and it's very easily updated. So let's say the paper vendor ups their prices, which I know never happens. You can upload that updated price into the system, and it will flag when that pricing has been updated. The nice thing about this is if you have inventory on the floor and maybe you've ordered additional inventory to add to it, it will do a first in, first out. So it'll keep the cost of the original inventory amount, and then when it gets to that inventory amount where the cost has updated, it will automatically update that cost into DocketManager. So you don't have to worry about keeping track or updating costs. You can see what's on hand or what's available at any time. So on hand is it's on the shelf. Available means that it's not allocated to a specific job. So when I write up an order, I can actually allocate the paper to that job so it can't be pulled for another job. I can keep track of customer goods inventory as well. So customer goods can be pre-printed items, or they can be shells, or they can be things that I'm doing drop shipping on. It'll keep track of those orders, and as we go ahead and order them through the ordering system where we're selecting from customer goods, it'll automatically subtract from that inventory amount. I can get a monthly usage on it. I can see all of the inventory additions or depletions in a log down below here. And again, I can set minimum levels and what type of information this particular customer good is. I'm going to go into the PO section and show you that you can actually order paper or substrate within DocketManager. So if I had a end of the day and I'm getting ready to order new paper, I can click new, select who that paper supplier is, go ahead and save, and now I can start adding stock to it. So I can add stock manually simply by clicking add, finding the paper that I want to add or the various papers that I want to add to the order. So I'll go ahead and add them in. At this point, I got a little error, so I probably grabbed a stock that there wasn't available. But then I can also, if I'm going in and let's say I've added a job that the paper requires reorder, so it's not on the shelf or it's reached a minimum, I can go ahead and select show me the papers that require reorder, and it'll give me the list of those papers, so I can simply select them again and add them into the order itself. So once I've added those papers in, I can update the paper amount by simply, when a packing slip comes in, I can go ahead and click received, update those amounts, and it's going to automatically put it into inventory for me. We have an accounts receivable section. So again, you can do your invoicing out of DocketManager. You can invoice your clients. You can receive payments. You can track sales commissions on each job if necessary. And then at the end of a period, again, whether it's weekly, daily, monthly, you can run a closeout report. It'll close out all of those items that you've posted. It'll create a CSV file or a text file that you can then import into your full accounting program. So very easy to do the accounts receivable here, and then your full accounting program in QuickBooks or another application. And it's just exporting and importing into your accounting program the general ledger data. So you're not like doing a large import of invoices. It's just the general ledger data that is tied to each of the items in DocketManager. There's also a nice revenue breakdown tool in here, so you can see where you're profitable in the system. Okay, so here in my graphics area, I've got my cost, my sale, and my profit, so I can track that based on a specific date range if I needed to. There's all kinds of standard reports within DocketManager in the settings. If I go into the settings area, it's all very intuitive as far as how to set things up. So we've really set it up where people can go in and easily add or edit items in the back end. Now, one of the things that we will do is we'll help you with that setup. So with the various packages that you order, there's time that we can go in and, as part of the package, we'll set up a little bit of the system for you and we'll train you on it. You can also purchase full system setup, where we actually will convert all of your data out of your last system or enter it brand new for you. And do that conversion and setup for you. So that's an option that we offer as well as on-site training. So I want to go ahead, that's really the basics of the MIS. I want to go into the web to print and take a look at the web to print portals. This is brand new, just rebuilt and released. We're really excited about the capabilities of this system. So you get unlimited portals that have direct access or direct integration, two-way integration with the DocketManager MIS. So items that you change and update in the MIS will get updated in the web to print portals, and anything that's in a web to print portal, when the customer places an order or updates something, it gets updated in the MIS itself. So again, you can create custom portals for all of your different clients. They can have set logins and access to specific products. There's a number of different ways of showing those products, so you can show them in categories here along the side or a product list up at the top here. So again, we can organize them very easily for our clients. So let's say we're doing some postcards. We can drill down into that standard postcard and allow them to place that order. Now, there are two different types of items that are available in DocketManager that we do. One is a static order where, it's maybe something that has no versioned information to it. They're either uploading a file into it, or it's something that, we typically just produce because we have the file. So in the web to print system, what you can do is upload images for those particular pieces, and the customer can see those images. We can go ahead then and give options for that particular piece. So here we've got a postcard. Maybe we got two different types of postcards. The 6x4 is pretty standard, but let's say the 5x7, we have different design and different paper options that they can select. So once we select those options, again, we can upload the file, we can change the stock, we can change the laminate, and for everything I change, the prices are going to update accordingly for the customer. So again, that's all pulling from the MIS. You're not managing two different pricing systems, one on the web to print and one on the MIS. The client can add it to cart and then select multiple items and check out at once. And we'll go into the cart and checkout process in a second. I want to show you the other option within the MIS or within the web to print, which is versioned information. Which, by the way, let's say this postcard is something that we do quite often, or the customer does quite often. They can click the little star and add it to favorites, and they can have a favorites menu up here where they're going to go in and view the various items that they order on a regular basis. So here we've got some business cards. This is where we have the versioned information. We can select a quantity, go ahead and customize it. So I'm going to go ahead and select 500. Now I want to go in and customize that particular order, and here's where that versioned information can come in. So I can type in the information of the order and get an instant proof, or I can save that. So let's say the last time I placed the order for my business cards, I actually typed in a pre-fill save, and it saved it here. So now when I'm coming in again, I can select that pre-fill, and it's going to automatically drop that data into the business card, so I don't have to do any typing. Everything is saved from the last time. If I needed to update something, I could definitely update it and update the preview and get that live preview of that piece. A bunch of the features that we have too are the ability to have different layouts available to the customer. So in this case, let's say I go ahead and select the left justified purple logo and I click update preview. I've got data in there already. What it's going to do is put that logo in, left justify the logo, right justify the text, change the font, change the color. So again, I'm not rekeying any data in, I'm just selecting that different design option. So this comes in very handy if your clients have different options that you can select from. You can also do front and back, different back options for, let's say we have a different layout for the back. I want to go ahead and update the preview and then see the second side. I can update that preview, see the second side, and it's going to show me that option that I've selected. Once I proceed, it gets added to a cart. If I wanted to, I can review my cart or just simply go to the checkout process, see the items that I have in there, and then again do a checkout. So I can have saved billing and shipping locations for the customer. So once they select that item, it's going to go ahead and fill things in. Maybe it's the same shipping and billing. So again, it eliminates a lot of those options that I have to fill in, pretty standard for carts. And then it allows me to select payment type. So let's say I want to pay by credit card and I want to ship a certain way. It's going to now allow me to put in either saved credit cards or enter my credit card data in, submit the order, and check out. And once I submit that order, it's paid. I get a notification at the print shop end that the order has been placed and that job ticket is already written, files attached, ready to put into production. Some other really nice features within the MIS, aside from the cart and checkout, is the ability to check your order status. So a client can log into their system and take a look at the status of their various orders. So here our brochure, the order's been completed. I can go down and see statuses based on what I've updated within the shop. So if it's in production, if it's in graphics, is it waiting approval, that status will show up here. The other thing that I can do is I can easily reorder this item. So once I select reorder, it's going to fill in all the data from the last order, allow me to make changes or go ahead and produce the order accordingly. There is a request for quote section that we can put in here, so your clients can go in and request a quote, and then you can, the nice thing is you can take, once that quote is produced, you can actually push it out to their online portal. So if I go into the quotes and proofs section here, remember I told you that you can push proofs from the MIS out to the customer, so they can log in, look at their proofs that are available. So I'm going to go in, take a look at that proof. It's going to show me that PDF of the proof, so I can scroll down, scan through everything. Maybe I've got some changes. I can put the change notes in here. So maybe there's a typo in here. I'll just go ahead and copy it and say, paste it and say make changes to this, section of text, or I can expand it out and say request changes. So again, that's going to update DocketManager automatically that we require changes on the job, or I can go ahead and approve it right here as well. Not only can I do proofs, but I can do quotes as well. So again, if they put in a request for quote and I go ahead, I can push it out to the web and they can then approve that quote from here. So I'm going to go down to my February promo items. There were 3 items on the quote, and I quoted a number of different quantity options on a couple of the different items. So at this point, they can go ahead and approve that quote. So it's going to show their customer information at the top. Maybe the only thing that I want to order at this point is the banners. So I can actually unclick the 2 brochure items and select the banners and say approve. Or the client can decline it or request changes. They can also, let's say we want to do the brochure, I can pick the quantity that I want. Once that quote has been approved, it's going to automatically convert that quote in DocketManager into an order and notify you that that order has been approved. So again, you can push the quotes out online. Clients can approve them right through the web-to-print portal. There's also an inventory integration. So if we have customer goods inventory for this particular client, they can go in and see, hey, how many do I have on hand? What do I have available? So available means I've got 5,000 sitting on the shelf, but maybe one of my co-workers put an order in for 2,500, so I'd only have 2,500 available. I can also see how many are on order. So if we're replenishing the inventory, it'll show that those are in order. So we can get those updates on those inventories. I can see outstanding balances of orders that were placed. So if I want to go ahead and pay them online, I can definitely pay them online. So I could see posted or unposted invoices. So posted mean they've been billed and completed out, so I can pay them now. Unposted invoices are invoices that haven't been posted, but we still have the option of going in and maybe making a payment against them. So let's say these February promo items, I want to go ahead and pay these. I can select them. It gives me the breakdown on the pieces. I can again select from a saved card and make a payment on that item right online. So again, it'll automatically show up in DocketManager as being paid. So it'll show that payment against that particular item. You can allow your customers or certain people within your customer, their company, to have an admin access. And what the admin access does is it allows them to add new users from their company. So let's say they've got a new employee that they need to add, or maybe somebody left. They can delete that employee access or edit it accordingly. So here's our HE Pennypacker. We want to go in and set up the preferences for them. So you can see name, title, phone number, email address, usernames, roles, and passwords. We can give them access to certain locations that they can select from in a billing or shipping environment. So what are the different company locations that are set up? What do they have access to? And then from here, we can grant or restrict access to the various products that have been made available in this particular portal. So if I don't want them, as you see up here, I don't want this particular person to have access to the construction brochure, that's fine. Maybe this form they're not going to use, so I can select that and restrict the access for them. If I have any saved credit cards, those credit cards will show up here, and I can again give them access to make payments utilizing those credit cards. So as an admin, as the customer is an admin, they can completely control their employees in the various levels of access. So again, very robust system as far as the web to print and how it interacts with the MIS system. So that's about an hour that we've been at this. I wanted to keep this just a very cursory overview of the system. I wanted to make sure that we went over everything. If there's any questions at this point right now, I'll go ahead. You can type them into the questions and answers panel, and we can go ahead and get them answered. So it looks like there were no questions today. That's great. Hopefully I did a wonderful job of explaining this to you. I'm going to go ahead and get a video sent out to all the people that registered by tomorrow. So again, I want to thank you for being a part of this webinar, specifically for Alliance Franchise Brand. If you do have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. My contact information will be on the email that gets sent out. We appreciate you being here today. Keep in mind, probably at some point next week, either myself or somebody from within our company will just be following up to see what you thought of the webinar, if you had a chance to watch it, or if you have any questions on the product itself. So on behalf of DocketManager, again, I want to thank you for taking the time out today. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be talking with you. Take care now.